guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at people who secretly lived in other people's houses. This is probably my biggest fear ever.
Velma Kellen's squatter. 73-year-old Velma Kellen spent a few months one Washington winter wondering why the front of her house was so cold. The problem was so bad that Kellen actually replaced her furnace to keep her home toasty over Christmas, but it remained chilly.
Okay, so she was wondering why her house was cold. Why is it? Is there someone like living under the floorboards? Or maybe someone's like living in like a cloak or like a closet and like they're turning the heating off. This is genuinely my biggest fear ever. Imagine you literally are living in your house and you hear a noise and it turns out someone is living with you.
Stranger still, the building was mysteriously starting to smell of marijuana. When a repairman came to take a look at the furnace, he had a shocking revelation. Underneath the house, one of the heating ducts had been completely cut so that a squatter could redirect the heat down there.
And how do you do that? Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, if I was ever a squatter, I'd just like hide and like, I don't even know where I'd hide. But I wouldn't even know how to do that. Like, the person somehow redirected the heat down to them. Are you kidding me? Like, they're literally squatting in an old woman's house and they're nicking her hay. That is so scary. Like, was he literally under the floorboards? Imagine he's literally sat there with like a full-on bed and everything.
Scarily, this squatter was never found. The only things left in the crawl space were empty beer cans and liquor bottles.
Okay, so obviously someone who like was living under her house or down there was a heavy drinker. So you're telling me there was literally someone drunk under her house most days and they never found the person. So that means he could come back whenever. Like, he could literally be there now. Oh my god, that's so scary. Imagine if he like moved up to the attic. And this video right here is why I get really scared whenever I hear a noise outside my house. I don't know if it's an animal or if it's some random alcoholic trying to live under my house.
Jimmy's friend. In 2016, Seattle resident Davis Wallman noticed strange things happening in his home. Namely, lights had been switched on and things were out of place.
The first thing you think in your head is my house is haunted, we need to get an exorcism. There's been a few times where I've been in my house and like set something down, it moves and I'm home alone. Maybe I'm not home alone, it's either my dog haunting me or it's literally someone living in my house. But it is quite freaky. Like, I had a conversation with my mum a while ago about it. We don't know what moved the stuff.
We know what you're thinking, ghosts. But there was no supernatural force at work here. Wallman eventually investigated his attic and found a woman hiding in a locked room up there.
Wait, so there was actually a woman? He literally came across a woman? That's so scary. Like, what happens if she literally launched herself at you? This right here is exactly what a horror film should be like. Like, they need to make a horror series like this.
Who claimed that Jimmy told her she could stay and that she'd been there for a couple of days already. She went so far as to claim that it was her house.
Right, okay, so this woman is obviously quite delusional, had somehow sneaked up into his attic and has been living there for a few days and claims that she now owns the house. What you need to do is get that phone out, call 911 and say, I think I'm about to get murdered.
I'm like, who the heck are you? Why are you in my house? And she keeps kind of going, this is my house. I live here. I've been here for 3 days.
Has this woman broke out of a mental hospital? I mean, obviously something's going on. She somehow broke into the house and like she's out of it. Does she have family? Like, do you reckon these people have family? What about that man at the beginning of the video? Like, where is he now? He could literally be in somebody else's home.
Despite Wallman's attempt to keep her there, the squatter got away, fleeing the house before the cops arrived.
Fire escape ladder was hanging from the deck and a screen from the bathroom window was in the tub.
It's just weird. You know?
Okay, so that is where that clip ended. We don't know if the person ever got arrested. So you're telling me he literally came face to face with someone who was living in his house for 3 days and she got away? Nah, that's sketchy. She's definitely put like a secret camera in the room or like in the house somewhere. And this is why you need a CCTV camera in every single room, every single nook and cranny possible. You're either gonna catch a spider or a human being.
Stanley Carter. Christmas is a time for giving, but you're meant to give to other people, not to steal from them and give to yourself. This Grinch made the news in Pennsylvania in 2008 when he was found hiding in a family's attic in a house in Wilkes-Barre.
Okay, so this isn't just like a young person or like an adult. This is a family probably with kids. Oh my god, them poor kids. Like, that would be so traumatizing. At Christmas, it's usually Santa that's jumping down the chimney. In this case, it was a random man.
During his 10-day stay, 21-year-old Stanley Carter had stolen clothes, cash, an iPod, and a laptop.
So you're telling me this all happened within the space of 10 days and they didn't assume someone was living in their house or had broken into their house? That is so freaky. Like, I'm telling you right now, I absolutely thought there's paranormal activity going on. Yet again, like, this is why I'm scared at night, because if I hear a noise, I genuinely don't know if it's my parents or if it is someone like up in my attic, because I do hear noises up there, creaks and crooks. It could be because the house is really old or mice or it's a human.
He'd even written up a list of the gifts he'd given himself, labeled Stanley's Christmas list. Carter was arrested and eventually pled guilty to burglary burglary and trespassing, landing himself 23 months in prison.
So you're telling me this man literally broke into a family's house at Christmas, stole their presents, and re-gifted them to himself and only got 23 months? What the hell? So in less than 2 years he's gonna be out. So he's probably out right now. Families in that area better lock their doors because there's an actual real-life Grinch out in the run.
Tigra Shepherd. When Catherine Lang returned to her South Carolina home after a vacation, nothing could have prepared her for the surprise that she discovered upon her return.
Oh my god, yeah, that must be awful. You literally go out on holiday and you come home and someone's in your home. I mean, at least you knew the house wasn't lonely when you were away.
A woman named Tigra Shepherd and her entire family, pets included, had set up shop.
Wait, so you're telling me it wasn't just one person, it was a woman and her whole family? I mean, I won't lie, whenever I was younger, I was thinking if I wanted to, I could stalk a family and literally break into their holiday home. You know, if you're going to a holiday home, you'll probably only go to it like less than 10 times a year. Probably every Monday to Friday, they're going to be at their normal house. So at least you know if I wanted to stay somewhere, I could just break into someone's house for 5 days of the week.
But this wasn't a case of Shepherd breaking in. She was actually the victim of a Facebook scam, advertising Lang's house as a legitimate rental property.
Oh, okay, maybe she isn't as bad as what we thought she was. I was thinking the whole time this was some psycho that literally broke in and moved her family into a house. It turns out she fell for a Facebook scam and she thinks she's living in that house, but it isn't actually her house.
Invited to move in while Lang was away, she even signed a fraudulent lease and wired over $1,150.
Oh my god, so this woman is literally $1,000 out thinking that she's finally got a roof over her head for like a few months. And then it turns out that's not actually the case and she's going to be kicked out again. Oh my god, that's actually so heartbreaking. Does this happen a lot? I really hope it doesn't.
While it was certainly inconvenient for Lang, Shepherd lost money and needed to find a new place to live.
I honestly hope she did find a new place to live in the end with her family. And that's exactly why GoFundMe exists. Stuff like that happens and we need to, you know, help people.
Jeremy
had been telling everybody the story about the ghost in our house, coming and opening all our cupboards and the oven and the microwave and all this stuff.
I love how they're talking about a ghost store and in the background you literally seen that flag moving. It probably is because of the AC on in the background, but you don't know. Was it a ghost or was it a squatter?
These Ohio State University students got more than they bargained for when they moved into an off-campus house together.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I think that's the house that they were just showing us like the footage. That does look like a haunted abandoned house. Am I the only one who low-key is obsessed with abandoned houses and buildings? Why don't the government literally buy them and like redo them and then like set them up as like actual buildings? Or is there like a reason why they don't do that?
The residents frequently noticed odd occurrences such as drawers left open, lights left on, and strange noises from behind a locked door in the basement.
Oh my god, that looks like a murder photo. So you're telling me right now this isn't the photo you'd see in a Netflix crime documentary? That literally looks like a room that somebody would have been held captive in for about like 15 years.
They eventually contacted the landlord and police, who managed to get the door open, revealing an entire bedroom.
So you're telling me in their house that they were like renting, there was a locked room in the basement? I swear 99.9% of the doors should be unlocked. Like they're literally renting a house, they should be able to use it for its full like capacity. And then it turns out there was literally some random person living down there. That is a nightmare.
Inside the room, they found pictures of the guy with his friends and family.
Weirder yet, the mysterious tenant had actually met some of the students in the house, saying his name was Jeremy.
It was like, oh, I was wondering when I get to meet the people that live here, and I was like, oh, hey, like, what is your name? And he's like, oh, my name's Jeremy.
Wait, so like how did he literally get in? I don't understand it. Like how's he literally in there? So they obviously don't know that he was living down there. Does he pay rent? Is he living there for free?
They just assumed he was a friend visiting another roommate. Jeremy was evicted and nobody was hurt. But this story is still pretty creepy.
Exactly, like yeah, it is creepy. He obviously got evicted and like no one was hurt, thank god. But like, I've still got questions. Was he paying rent? How did he get in there? That's literally a locked room in the basement. That is so freaky, like, oh.
Anthony Jones. Down and out with nowhere else to go, 60-year-old homeless man Anthony Jones moved into the attic of a woman in Arlington, Virginia in 2017.
See, I've got mixed emotions because like obviously he's homeless, he's quite desperate by the sounds of it. So he breaks into somebody's house and lives like in their house without them knowing. It's so sad, isn't it? Because like if he wasn't homeless and like if the government actually helped homeless people out, they wouldn't need to do stuff like that. You know, it is sad, isn't it? But then it's like he shouldn't be doing it because it is illegal.
She initially thought the sounds coming coming from the attic might be the local wildlife or even her landlord using the space as storage. But after calling the police, Jones and his belongings were found up there.
Officers found a man in the attic along with a backpack, clothing, and a bed. Police believe he entered the house through a sliding glass door.
Wait, so he literally entered it through a sliding glass door? I'm trying to think right now, if I were to break into somebody's house, how would I do it? I genuinely don't know. Like, you literally need to know what they're doing at all times and like all their locks and stuff. I feel like we look at these people and get freaked out, but like we need to give them credit. They were smart and able to literally live in someone's house without them knowing for a while.
Though he was arrested peacefully, he didn't offer any explanation to the cops about how long he'd been there. Whether he posed any kind of danger to the house's tenant is unclear. Either way, she's likely sleeping a little easier now.
I mean, not really. Probably sleeping a lot worse. She literally didn't notice someone was living above her all that time. If that happened to me, I'd be thinking 24/7, oh my god, is someone else gonna like break in? Is there like security that I need to up? Like, how did they literally get into the attic without me knowing? And also, like, they don't know how long he was staying there for. Was he there for a week, a month, a year?
Andrew Swofford. Another incident involving off-campus student housing. This story occurred in 2019 near the University of North Carolina at Greensboro.
Okay, so this is in 2019, which is like quite recent. This was like right before the COVID pandemic. I feel like whenever we watch these videos and hear about these stories, we think, oh, they happened in like 2005. Nah, like this literally happened 4 years ago.
When clothes went missing and ominous handprints started appearing on mirrors and walls.
Okay, now that is creepy. The clothes can understand that, you know, you lose stuff. Handprints around the house, nah, that is when you think there's a child killer here. There's literally like the ghost of a dead child running around and it's gonna like bite my legs one day.
The roommates thought that their home might be haunted. A strange noise led one student, Maddie, to believe that the ghost might be in her closet, but it was not a ghost at all. It was a 30-year-old man named Andrew Swofford who was wearing Maddie's clothes.
Oh my god, so that's like a photo? Absolutely not. Everything about this literally screams scary. The way he's just squatting there, the bald patch, the hair. Nah, I'm sorry, I can't actually look at that because that's genuinely freaky. Like, imagine one day you literally walk into your wardrobe and a 30-year-old man is sat there. Nope, not for me.
Andrew Swofford is the suspect. He's now facing 14 felony charges. You see him there. The female resident says that her clothes have been disappearing for some time, and, well, she thought it may have been the work of a ghost.
So this has been happening for some time, and it turns out it was actually a man stealing your clothes. That is so scary. Like, you don't know what's going on in that person's head. They literally could be like psychotically crazy. I mean, to be fair, a lot of these people obviously are a bit in the cuckoo side if they're literally breaking into people's houses, but you don't know, he literally could have been planning to like murder them.
She immediately called for help. Swofford was arrested and hit with a bevy of charges. This was actually the second time within a few months that the students had found men inside their home.
This was the second time within a few months they'd found men inside their home. I know they're like close to a student campus, but oh my god, are they in a dangerous area? What type of area do they live in where it's like a norm for men to literally be in your house without you knowing?
CARLO Castellanos-FERIA. Back in 2005, physical therapy director Michelle Friedenberg-Onion was stalked by a valet at the hospital she worked at. He claimed in court that he was in love with her, which was why he stole and copied her keys and then followed her home and hid underneath her bed.
Oh yeah, because that's totally gonna make her fall in love with you too. So basically this man was obsessed, stalked her, and then broke into her house and literally followed her 24/7.
Castellanos-FERIA was there, under the bed, for 2 nights, while a video camera that he'd hidden in the room filmed Friedenberg-Onion and her partner.
Okay, so it was bad enough he literally done all of that stuff, but he was under her bed for 2 nights and filmed it. Nah, I'm sorry, this actually is like a horror film. Like, you know, whenever you hear like noises under your bed and you want to look but you're too scared to in case there's like a body there. It turns out for her there was someone there.
The latter eventually discovered the intruder and he was taken away by the cops, who found latex gloves and condoms in his things.
So that is literally proof that like he obviously was gonna do stuff. Nah, I'm so... I just heard a really weird noise, and because I'm watching this video, it's freaking me out. But that right there is an example as to what could possibly go wrong. You don't know what the person could be planning.
The story was so dramatic, it actually inspired a Lifetime movie.
There we go. Her trauma was literally turned into a movie. But I can guarantee you it was a good one.
Edward CONEYS. He may have been nicknamed the Denver Spider-Man, but he was far from the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man we all know and love. In late 1941, homeless man Theodore Edward CONEYS broke into the house of former acquaintance Philip Peters. Finding a narrow trapdoor to an attic cubbyhole, Coney's made himself at home.
And this is why you literally need to lock all of your doors. Like at all times, my doors are locked. Even whenever I'm going out or going downstairs, I will close the window. You don't know what could climb into your house: an insect, a bug, a cat, or a human.
It wasn't until 5 weeks later that Peters caught Coney's pilfering food from the fridge.
5 weeks later? Oh my god. There's 7 days in a week, so how many days was he there for? 35 days or something like that? Oh my god, so that guy was there for over a month.
In the ensuing scuffle, Coney's killed Peters, then hid in his cubbyhole while police searched the house. He continued to live there for a further 9 months, unbeknownst to Peters' wife and housekeeper.
Right, so you're telling me he literally murdered the guy whenever he found him and lived there for 9 months, and he was also there whenever the police were searching the house. I knew this was like in the 1940s where like technology and all the investigation stuff wasn't as good, but come on, how did he do that?
TATSUKO Horikawa. Discovering that someone has secretly been living in your home for a few days is unnerving, but what if they did it for an entire year?
That is like the worst possible situation. I'm thinking about it now. Imagine if like he literally lived in like Buckingham Palace. Oh my god, please don't tell me that is what's gonna happen. Like the royals have so many houses and like mini houses and like just land. Someone could literally like build a den and live there and they wouldn't know.
That's what happened to one man in the town of Kasuya, Japan. Growing tired of food mysteriously disappearing from his house, he set up a camera to catch the culprit. It turned out that the thief was a 58-year-old homeless woman named Tatsuko Horikawa.
Okay, so we got a woman who's been living in the guy's house for a long time and stealing his food. Are they gonna show us like the videos? Like, I'm actually thinking about putting video cameras up around my house. There's been so many times whenever I've heard weird noises. I don't know if it's the pigeons or if it's a crazy woman like that.
Who'd been hiding on the top shelf of his closet on and off for about a year. Police said that the woman was clean and polite enough and just hadn't been able to find a place to live.
Oh yeah, she's so clean and polite that she's literally living in the guy's house for like a year. That ain't polite, that's like illegal.
She'd even moved a mattress into the closet.
How sweet of her. She also should have bought flowers to give to him, so it means his trauma won't be as bad. Anyways guys, that is the end of that video. That is some people who were secretly living in people's houses. I think I've got a new fear because I'm telling you right now, someone's definitely living in my attic. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you're a subscribe button, and yes, I'll see you all in my next video.